Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Harshali Mataji, can you once put the link on the group again, class link?
Yes, Mataji, sure.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna, Mataji is facing some technical issue. She'll be logging back in just a few minutes. Let us do some kirtan till then. Anyone wants to do kirtan? Okay, I will only do. Namayom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatariణि Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Can you make me the host again so that I can share the screen? Okay. I don't know, sorry, something happened with the PC and it just got switched off suddenly. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah, so today we start with chapter 18. That is the last chapter. Basically, this chapter is summary of whatever we've seen in the last 17 chapters. It's partly something from all the chapters and a few important instructions given by Lord Krishna to all of us and to Arjuna in the end. Okay, so it's a summary, few slokas, a summary of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, which we already saw in the first half, second half of the book. Then we came across the moods of nature. So this is just a revision of all of that. Now Arjuna again begins with a query. He's asking what is the purpose of sannyasa and tyag. Basically, what is the difference between sannyasi and a tyagi? So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, giving up activities that are based on material desires is what great learned men call the renounced order of life. That is sannyasi. Correct? Giving up activities for material desires. That is for sense gratification. That is sannyasi. What does a sannyasi do? He leaves everything and he goes to a forest, correct? And lives a secluded life. Whereas giving up the result of all activities is what the wise call renunciation. Renunciation is you perform the activities, but the result of the activity you give up. So a sannyasi renounces both the fruit and as well as the work, both. Sannyasi is the last part of the last 25 years of life according to the Varnashram Dharma. And Tyagi is the one who renounces the fruit of one's work. He performs work, but the fruit of action is renounced. See, based on karma, we'll give an example. What is Nitya Karma? Daily prescribed duties that everyone has to do. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your body, wear clean clothes. Like, as for an example, the Sandhya Vandana done by a Brahmin. Kamya Karma is karma done to perform for certain personal desires. Like Putra Kameshti Yajna, certain yajnas for some personal benefits. So these two things. So in sannyasi, one gives up kamya karma and performs nitya karma. Means what he does, he just performs whatever is his nitya karma, like having bath and all those basic things for required for your existence and survival. In tyaga, one performs all kamya and nitya karmas without seeking results. So he will do everything, whatever is prescribed in the Vedas, prescribed in the Shastras, but he will not accept the fruit of it. Correct? By purification and liberation are not to be given up. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. This is the final instruction by the Lord, final verdict. Lord is saying you perform your activities, but do not get attached to it and do not expect anything, do not expect any result. Otherwise, what will happen? We'll get entangled, right? They should be performed as a matter of duty. That is my final opinion. So final instruction on Karma Yoga Lord has given. Now, we'll talk about renunciation in 3 modes of action, right? 3 modes of material nature. In the mode of goodness, he performs its duties as it is required to be done. There is no material association or attachment to the fruits. Because I'm supposed to do it, I will do it. That's it. Finish. Not related to the fruits of activities, not attached to the results, nothing. But passion, he gives up duties. He will not perform his duties. In both passion and ignorance, Such kind of renunciation is what? They will give up the duties itself. In mode of goodness, what do? You perform the duty, but just give up the fruits. That is what is recommended for us. People in mode of passion, they will give up the duty because of some fear of bodily discomfort. Oh, I'll have a trouble to go up to office. I have to travel so much. So let me not go. Let me just sit. This is the renunciation according to him. But that is not true renunciation, right? In mode of ignorance, what they don't do anything because of illusion. Whole day they are sleeping. Correct? So this kind of first two is not the real or the true renunciation. Actual renunciation is performing your action and giving up the fruits of action to satisfaction of the Lord. See, it is impossible to give up all activities. Can you be a true Tyagi? Can you not do anything at all? That is not possible, no? You are embodied. You have a particular body. You're living in the material nature. You're surrounded by material nature. You're in association with people. In such a scenario, you cannot give up activities. You cannot become a sannyasi. You cannot go to the forest. Even Arjuna could not do it in that time. So who are we to do it in this age, correct? But he who renounces the fruit of action is called a truly renounced. This is an example of Alfred Ford. He's the owner of Ford Company, and he's a devotee of the Lord, right? Jnana, the Jnana part now, the Karma Yoga part, the revision of Karma Yoga part, or the instruction, final instruction of the Lord was what? Give up the fruits of action, but perform your duties. Yes, Mataji, you can decide.
अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता कारणं च पृथग्विधं विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टा दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्.
Panchama means 5 factors of action. What are the 5 factors of action? You need a body, right? You need, for any action, you need a body. Then you need a performer. Then you need various senses, very different kind of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are 5 factors of action which Lord has given. Modes entangle us as per our mentality. Now in these all these shlokas over here, knowledge is, we are going to see how is knowledge in mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. What is action in mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness? What is worker's performance? What is understanding? What is determination? What is happiness? So in the next sloka, we've just divided into sections. What is given in continuation, it is given in the text. Like in mode of passion, what is knowledge? In mode of ignorance. So we've just taken it in a simplified format. All activities, basically, all activities. So many we saw in the 14th chapter, right? So this is just a continuation of that. Additional to that, all activities in the universe are controlled by the 3 modes of nature. You are bound by the 3 modes of material nature as long as you are in the material world. So, how is one's knowledge? Correct? Lord is saying, I'm talking about knowledge. How is the knowledge of a person in the mode of goodness? He will understand that in every, although knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms. You should understand to be in the mode of goodness. A person in the mode of goodness will realize that each one is a spiritual entity. There is a soul who is Satchitananda, correct? And along with him, there is a super soul. So this knowledge and this understanding people in the mode of goodness have. What happens to people in the mode of passion? They do not have this understanding, correct? They feel the spiritual existence in every living being is different. So basically the super soul concept they've not understood. Then in the mode of darkness, what is the knowledge? Knowledge by which one is attached to the one kind of work and without knowledge of the truth, which is very merged and is said to be in the mode of darkness. That means they're not aware that there is a spiritual existence. They completely deny any spiritual existence. That is mode of darkness. I mean, basically they don't have any knowledge at all. Then what is action based on 3 modes of nature? Action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, no duality, correct? And without desire for fruitative activity. That means what? I'm doing it as a matter of duty and I renounce the result. That kind of action, such kind of karma is in the mode of goodness. What is in the mode of passion? With great effort, you perform a certain action, putting a lot of effort, but what? He demands certain results from it. From that action, if you expect certain fruit, you go in the mode of goodness. And that is under the influence of false ego. Correct? You want ownership over your act. You want ownership over the fruits of action. And basically all this is for what? For gratification of the senses eventually, right? So that kind of action is in the mode of passion. Now, what is action in the mode of goodness? Which is completely against scriptural injunctions. Whatever is written in scriptures opposite to that, like exactly doing what is not to be done, like vikarma platform, right? Yeah, maybe that can include violence or can include causing distress to others. That is in the mode of ignorance. So we saw what is action, then we saw what is knowledge. Now we'll see what is worker. Three kinds of workers. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm. Like even if you're doing it even if you're renouncing the fruits of your activity, but still while you're performing the action, he's doing it with determination and enthusiasm. He's not letting go the determination, enthusiasm, and faith, and without wavering. He's not dependent on the success or failure. He's just performing the action because that is his duty, but he's doing it with determination and enthusiasm. Such a worker is in a mode of goodness. But a worker who's working 100%, he's giving, he's putting a lot of effort, but what with constant hankering or constant attachment. If I do this, what will I get? I'll do this, I want this more. If I'll cheat somewhere here and there, then I'll get more. Who's always envious of someone, correct? So such an act becomes impure. So whatever effort you put in, if you're constantly just focusing on the result, like if you're preparing for an exam and you're constantly thinking how much marks I'll get, will you be able to at least study properly for it? You have to focus on giving your 100%, performing your 100%, and then rest is left to God because you are surrendering it to Him, right? And is affected by sorrow and joy. If something doesn't happen according to His will, he's disturbed. Next time when he's doing it again, he with that thing he'll have on his back. The last time this happened, now this shouldn't happen, and then so always into the duality. This is in mode of passion. But person in mode of ignorance, what is he doing? In work, engaged in work that is not supposed to be done at all. Correct? Who's cheating, insulting others, lazy, in fact, who's procrastinating work or kind of not working at all. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it right now. Why should I even do it? Whatever I have, I have. If someone gives me, I'll take. All this is in mode of ignorance. Then we saw what we saw. We saw worker, we saw action. Then we saw, what else we saw? Knowledge. Now we'll see what is intelligence in the 3 modes. The understanding by which one knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating. Basically means he has the basic understanding. See, everyone should basically understand more than what I should do. You should be able to understand what I should not do. Every time they say when you are speaking to someone, more than what you should talk, you should know when and what you should not talk. That is also equally important, right? So the person who can distinguish between these two is an intelligent person in a mode of goodness. Intelligence in mode of passion is what? He cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action and what should be done and action that should not be done. Confused, correct? Then in mode of passion, who considers irreligion to be religion, completely opposite. He's under the spell of illusion and darkness. He's behaving exactly opposite to what is given in the scriptures, like staying awake the whole night, indulging in activities against the 4 pillars of dharma, all these things, right? This is in a mode of ignorance. This is intelligence. Then we go to determination. That determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice. What will basically yoga do? Yoga is connection to the Lord. What does it help in? It helps in sense control and mind control. So with the help of mind control and sense control, whose activities are performed with determination, who's fixed in what he's doing. He's not getting wavered by the circumstances around. Such is in mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is in the nature of passion. Whenever sense gratification comes into play, whenever there is greediness, that becomes the mode of passion. Then what is determination in mode of darkness or in mode of ignorance? It's dreaming, fearful always, lamenting, and under the mole of illusion. Such people are unintelligent. Actually, that is, you cannot even, this belong to the third category of the intelligence. Remember, mode of passion. Intelligence is mode of passion. So that they have no determination at all because they don't want to do anything, lazy. Then we'll see what is happiness in three modes. That which in the beginning may just be like poison, but at the end is like nectar. What is like that example I gave you? Certain kind of food. In the beginning, if you eat, it feels like poison, like, they don't taste good, but that is good for your body. Example, karela or some kind of medicines that you take, some kind of Ayurvedic products. I'm just giving an example. Something that in the beginning might feel like poison, but that is actually nectar. Any good habit to inculcate in you, getting up in the morning at 5 o'clock. Poison, no, in the beginning, I just can't get up in the morning. I've not slept well at night, whatever reason you might have. That is poison. Nectar in that is happiness in the mode of goodness. But out of that, what bliss you get after you begin chanting early in the morning, that you realize later, slowly. That is why happiness in the end. Happiness derived from contact of sense with their sense objects, which appears nectar at first, but poison in the end. In the beginning, you might something you might get which you feel is very nice, like eating something, sweet things. You eat sweet things, you might feel like nectar in the beginning, but later, what is it causing? Is increasing your blood sugar levels, right? So nectar in the beginning, poison in the end. That is happiness in mode of passion. What is happiness in mode of ignorance? In the beginning also there is poison, end also there is poison. Happiness which is bind to self-realization, which is delusioned from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion. Like consuming putrid food, consuming decomposed food. There is no happiness in the beginning also, no happiness in the mode of ignorance. So we saw many things. Happiness in the mode of ignorance, three modes: happiness, then determination. Basically, this is adding to the points that we saw in chapter 14. And four kind of ashramas based on the mode of material nature. See, Brahmanas are said to be in the mode of goodness. Kshatriyas are said to be in the mode of passion. Vaishyas and Chudras are said to be in the mode of ignorance. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, religiousness. These are natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Correct? These all qualities if a person has. Even if he is a son of a Kshatriya, he's born to a parent who's a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, still he becomes a Brahmana if he has all these qualities. That is what his Lord saying. Heroism, power, determination, and courage in battle, generosity are qualities of the work of the Kshatriyas. Then farming, cow protection, business are natural work for the Vaishyas and for the Shudras. They are labor and service to others. These are just like different arms of the, like different parts of the body which have to work in coordination. Otherwise, the body will not function, right? So none is greater, none is, you should not consider anyone higher. Just that there is a difference in intelligence, interest, and the way or the actions that are performed. Correct? Then who's an ideal worker? He's at the level of what? Brahma Bhuta stage. Yes, Mataji, you can recite.
ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्.
Now Lord is giving an example. Who is he explaining? Who is a person who is in a Brahma Bhuta stage? Na soshati na kankshati means what? He does not desire anything, nor he laments it. If you get something, he's not very happy about getting it, or nor he's very sad about getting it. He's neutral. Who's transcendently situated, at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He's equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Now, all these instructions are already being given by the Lord in the in various ways in various chapters previously also, correct? But this is the final instruction what Lord is giving in the last chapter. And how to reach the Brahmabhuta stage? Only by devotional service. This Lord is saying devotional service is the only means by which you can understand God. See, there are various ways of yogic practices, but unless and until, who is a true yogi who performs devotional service? Only then he will be able to understand God as he is. Yes, Mataji.
Facing some technical issues. She'll be logging back in just a few minutes. भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावन्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati. What does that mean? Only by bhakti, that is devotion. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. You can understand God, all his properties. 100% to understand him as he is difficult, because his opulences are inconceivable. But whatever we understand, whatever as much as possible, that is only possible by devotional service. And one is in full consciousness of me. By such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So the easiest way, or the short 100% way to enter the kingdom of Lord is by devotional service. And this is what Lord himself is saying in the last chapter. Bhaktya mam api janati. If you become conscious of me, you will pass all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing, you will be lost. Now, after telling all this, if you are still not understanding, then what is going to happen? You are going to enter into the trap of the cycle of birth and death. That means you'll be lost again somewhere into some, you'll get some other body and then some other body, and you'll not be able to come out of it. But once who's understood me, whose consciousness of me, who has the awareness of the super soul within, what will happen to such a person? Who will come to me, will pass over all the obstacles.
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति ब्रह्मयन् सर्वभूतानां यन्त्रारूढानि मायया.
Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridayishta arjuna tishtati. Means, what is hridayishta? I am situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made up of material energy. Correct? We are into the gross body, correct? What is it made up of? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? We are a mixture basically of superior energy and the inferior energy of the Lord. Superior energy is what? The soul, right? Soul is the superior energy of the Lord. Inferior energy is what? The gross elements and the subtle elements, correct? So, who are seated on like a machine made up of material energy, but I am directing it. You just have to, like, those two birds, soul and the super soul. Your soul has to be, has to turn its face again to the Paramatma or the super soul within you. This is a four-handed Narayana form. That is the Lord which is residing in your heart. So right now you are neglecting him. You're not having his realization, his awareness, because of what? The soul is busy in what? In sense gratification, enjoyment. Once he realizes that there is something, I am more than the body, I am the soul, and along with me is the super soul, then what will happen? You will have the realization of Lord, that he is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridayishta arjuna tishtati. Right? Yeah, now this shloka, is repeated. It's there in previous chapters also. It is there in this. Twice Lord is saying. There's some change in the last two lines. First two lines are the same. Yes, Mataji. And this is considered with the essence of Bhagavad-Gita. This shloka is all the summary of the entire text. That is why it is repeated. Yes, Mataji.
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैष्यसि सत्यन्ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे.
Manmanama madbhakto means always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. If you are constantly thinking of me and offering devotional service to me, see, whenever what is happening, when you're doing devotional service, you're thinking of the Lord. When you're chanting, you're thinking of the Lord. When you're offering prasadam, you're thinking of the Lord. When whenever you're performing some activity or routine things, and you're giving the fruit of the result, fruit of the action to the Lord, you're thinking of the Lord. So in all these kind of activities, whenever you're thinking about me, So what happens is basically you don't have to make an extra effort in thinking about the Lord. In devotional service, you're constantly thinking of the Lord in whatever action you're doing. So in this way, you will come to me without fail. And what is Lord saying? I'm promising you this because you are my dear friend. So all these are the final instructions that Lord is giving to all of us and to Arjuna. Right? So this is how Krishna is protecting us. You know which Leela is this? Anyone knows? This is a picture of what Leela?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This picture is when he lifted Govardhan Parvat.
Yes, correct. Govardhan Leela, when Lord Indra was very angry, and what he did, there was a flood and there was a lot of rains, and the entire Vrindavan was getting affected by it. So what he did, he picked up the Govardhan hill, entire Govardhan hill on his one little finger for 7 days and 7 nights, and he was just 7 years old that time. And that time, at such a small age, he had protected all these people from the rains and the floods, and even the animals. See, they are in wonder, happiness. Correct? Look at their faces. And Lord is smiling. If someone tells us to pick up even a small thing with the help of a little finger, or even a big thing with both hands, we are like in distress. See, Lord, at such a small age, He's smiling. Yeah, so this is the final instruction that the Lord is giving. What is He saying? There's no, after this, there's no other instruction given by the Lord. These last 2-3 shlokas are the final instructions. Yes, yes.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
Saying abandon all varieties of religion, abandon everything. Clearly, He's saying that. Lord Himself is saying it. He's saying, just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So, surrendering to the Lord is the only means of getting out of your, or getting free from all the sinful reactions. Performing some good kind of karma is not a sure means of giving you liberation. Correct? It will give you some good, your, what do you say? Your good karma, it will add to your good karma, but it is not going to give you liberation. Only thing is abandon everything and surrender unto me, is what Lord is saying. Very important shloka this is. Yes, ma'am.
या इदं परमं गुह्यं मद्भक्तेष्वभिधास्यति भक्तिं मयि परां कृत्वा मामे वैष्यत्य संशयः.
What is Lord saying? For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So this is basically the importance of when the Shravanam is on and preaching, Kirtanam should begin. Correct? So when you start, what is Lord saying? When you give this secret to the devotees, you will yourself progress in devotional service, and that is guaranteed. And at the end, such a person will come back to me. See, this is an example. Who did this? Who preached? Who gave us the fruits of Bhagavad-Gita? Srila Prabhupada, right? At the age of 67, he left his home. Such an old age, he left everything. He went to America to give the message of the Lord. It is so difficult, no? In India, he couldn't. It has this text from where it has come from India, but still the message could not be propagated here. And when it went there, it would have been more difficult to pass on the message in Western countries, correct? But he did that possible. Why? Because he was determined. He did not give up action, correct? He did not. What was he doing? What all he was doing? He was doing it for the Lord, right? To pass on the message of the Lord. Overnight, he used to sit and write books. Just for 2-3 hours, he used to sleep, and he used to all the books, whatever he's written, his translations of Bhagavatam. Correct? All that. Why was he doing? He did not want any fame. He did not want to become famous. He wanted to spread the message of the Lord. Yes.
Yeah, Idam. Ma'am, this is done, right?
No, this is not done. No, this is not done.
Okay.
1 second. This is a repeat. 1 second. Yeah. 1 second. Yes, sorry, you just put it again. This book is different. Basically, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So he's saying, who is the dearest to the Lord? Who spreads the message of Bhagavad Gita? Because see, our original spiritual master is whom? Who's our original teacher who has given us Bhagavad Gita? Is the Lord, right? Arjuna was very fortunate that he could hear the message directly from the Lord. And now we have it in a text format, direct words which the Lord has used, which Lord himself has said. So hearing this is itself going to give us liberation and also spreading this message to everyone. So you become a servant of the Lord when you pass on this message to people. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. It's a very nice shloka. What is it? What is he saying? And I declare is Lord himself. He's saying, I am myself saying that who studies this sacred conversation. This is not a usual talk between any two friends or between a teacher and a student. This is a sacred conversation. This is transcendental, right? Understand, all this entire Bhagavad Gita was spoken in half an hour, which we are studying for 18 days. For so many hours we are sitting, and still it is just a base. When we have to prepare a speech for even for 10 minutes, we take 10 days to prepare it. But what is Lord doing? Lord has spontaneously, he's answering questions to Arjuna. He is not unprepared. He is spoken the entire Bhagavad Gita. This entire conversation is sacred. And who's studying this is worshipping me. That means understanding Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita is like worshipping Lord. It's like performing devotional service only. This is like worshipping Lord. By what? By his intelligence. You're trying to understand the conversation. You're trying to grasp what message Lord is saying. You try to understand the meaning of the shlokas. So using your intelligence. And this is worship itself. So when you're studying Bhagavad Gita, you're understanding the concept, you're worshipping Lord by your intelligence, is what Lord himself is telling us. This is the effect of studying. Now, what is the effect of listening to Bhagavad Gita? One who listens with faith and devotion without envy. No, very important factor, without envy. Now, if someone envies, like constantly Lord is saying, surrender unto me, I am the source of everything. Why is Lord saying all that? If that tinge of envy comes, gone, you're not going to understand anything. So the criteria itself, in the beginning chapters, Lord has said, you have to be a dear friend and a dear and my devotee. You have to be faithful. These are criteria to understand, right? You have to be faithful. What would you have to be? You have to be faithful. And you have to be non-envious. You have to be a devotee of the Lord. At least you have to be faithful and non-envious. Then becoming a devotee, gradually as you progress, you will understand. Who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So you get an opportunity to go to the higher planet just by listening, nothing else. Correct? Just listening. You become firm. Your so many questions are answered, right? After listening to all this, you realize that you're the soul, you're not the body. What happens to the soul after that? Then what are this entire body is made up of gross elements, subtle elements. These all are energies of the Lord. So your doubts are getting clear. You're getting free from doubts, and your conviction is becoming firm. My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is not now over. Arjuna saying, my illusion is over. I have regained my memory by your mercy. What I was doing in chapter 1, I was under illusion. I was rejecting my duty. I did not want to fight. But now, after you have spoken all this, I am out of illusion. I understand. I am firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. So nowhere Lord is forced, unless and until Arjuna is convinced. Till chapter 18, Arjuna is constantly asking questions. So it's a characteristic of a good teacher, right? Krishna is a good teacher and Arjuna is a good student. He never got angry on Arjuna anytime. He was never tired of his question. He answered all of them patiently. And Arjuna was constantly inquiring whenever he had a doubt. Unless and until all his doubts were cleared by the end, then finally Arjuna said, okay, now I'm going to act according to your instructions. After he was finally convinced. Nowhere is Lord forcing him. Did you see Lord forcing him anywhere? No. So now Arjuna, a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna ends here. Now this is what Sanjaya is saying. This is Sanjaya's interpretation now to whatever he's seen, he's heard. He's narrated it to Dhritarashtra, who was blind, who was sitting in Hastinapur. And now he's giving his own opinion on this. He's saying, thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls. Who are these? Arjuna and Krishna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Even he has got the realization. Even he has understood what is Lord saying. His hair was standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasdev, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. He's saying by mercy of Vyasdev, correct? He got divine vision and he understood. He heard all the confidential talks. No one else on the battlefield was hearing what they were saying, right? Directly, Sanjaya could hear. Why? Because he was given special mercy by Vyasa, because he was his disciple. So he's saying, now my hair is standing on end. This is the effect of hearing the conversation. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue, this dialogue is called, explained as what? Holy dialogue. It's not a routine conversation between you and me or between any two people. It is holy, transcendental, right? Between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. He's saying every moment was a thrill. Every moment was a new realization when I was listening to all this, right? So this is the conclusion, what Sanjaya is feeling about all the conversation which he has heard. He's revealing it to Dhritarashtra. This is the last shloka of Bhagavad-Gita, which is said by Sanjaya, his prediction. Final shloka. Yes, Mataji.
यत्र योगेश्वरो कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिः ध्रुवो नीतिर्मतिर्मम.
Yes. Now, what is Sanjaya saying in the last shloka? It is his prediction that Pandavas are going to be victorious. He's saying, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna means wherever there is Krishna. Yogeshwara is master of all mystics. He's describing Krishna as master of all mystics. So wherever there is Krishna, and Yatro Partho Dhanurdhara means wherever there is Arjuna. These two great people, Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna is the supreme archer and Krishna is the master of all mystics. That means Yogeshwar. Yogeshwar is described. Krishna is called Yogeshwar and Dhanurdhara is Arjuna. Tatra sthir vijayo bhute. That means also wherever and whenever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. That is my opinion. So indirectly, he is directly saying that they are Pandavas, as Lord is on the side of the Pandavas and there is a great warrior like Arjuna fighting on that side, victory is going to be with them. So this is what is the conclusion. This is the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna means wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, there is going to be victory. Someone would like to read this? The final conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone can read. Whoever likes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, read.
Not like an ordinary book, it's the song of God, Lord's own potency of knowledge to enlighten fallen souls like us.
Yes, great. So, yeah, it is Bhagavad-Gita. Geet. Someone was asking, no, why is it called Geet? It is a song of the Lord, correct? And it is himself spoken. It is spoken himself by the Lord. It's Lord's own potency of knowledge for all of us. We are all fallen souls. Why are we fallen? Because we are in the material world. This is an opportunity for us to rise, correct? Yes. What does it talk about? This talks about the 5 subject matters. What are they?
Ishvara, Jibha, Prakriti, Kala and Karma.
Kala. Ishvara is the Lord. It talks basically about these 5 things, right? This was the first thing I told you in chapter 1. Now this is after the entire 18 chapters. This is the conclusion. What did we learn? We learned Jiva. Jiva is the soul. Ishvara is the supreme personality of Godhead. Between the 6 middle chapters, Bhakti Yoga were all about the opulences, energies of the Lord. Correct? How he is all pervading, how he is into everything. Then what is Prakriti? Prakriti is material nature, right? We saw and body is made up of what? Gross elements, subtle elements, this, that. All this is Prakriti, material nature. Kala is time. That is what Lord himself. Karma is action. So we learned about all these things. Yes. Yes.
Enlighten us. Actual truth is the supreme personality of Godhead, and live entities and material nature are his two energies. Live entities have minute independence.
Yes. So what is the actual truth? The actual truth is supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, right? And he has 2 energies. Material energy, that is all the material nature that you see around you, everything. Inferior energy. And what is the superior energy? Us, living entities, soul and the super soul. Super soul is common in all the living entities, right? And soul is individual. And these both are eternally what? Satchit Ananda. But soul, and what has happened? Soul got a minute independence and it took advantage of it. It wanted to lord over material nature. So it came to the material world and thus got trapped. For what? Because of whatever are the desires, it gets a particular body for sense gratification. Correct? But that independence, rather than using it for sense gratification, you should be used in what way? Use that independence. One attains and experiences direct association with Lord Krishna. So with that independence, you can become a person. You can let mode of ignorance overpower you, or mode of goodness, and rise to the mode of Shuddha Sattva, right? Pure goodness. Yes, is the last point, Prabhuji.
One who hears properly become Krishna consciousness and thus can see Krishna in everything, and thus can make one's life exciting and wondrous at every step.
Yes, so whoever has read the Bhagavad Gita properly will realize how Lord is everywhere. Lord has given such clear instructions without any confusion. Maybe this, may not be that. No, nothing like that. This. Clear. And from this we understand how Lord is into everything. What we are eating, digestion is Lord. Air and the air that we breathe and in and out is Lord. Correct? This is how the energy, all the energy that's surrounding us, the light of the sun. Without the sun, existence, material, any kind of existence, living entity is not possible. Correct? So even with scientific base, Lord has practical points. This is how Bhagavad Gita is. Correct? So chapter 18 ends here, but the study of Bhagavad Gita now begins. You have to actually read every shlok, every purport, and now you will start understanding on your own because you've got the base, right?